Hello everyone, thank you very much for clicking and for watching the video. Welcome to the free game collection. So we have another video of spending the voucher. So this is the third one I've done this year. Instead of doing a big one at the end of the year, I'm spreading them out as we go. I have spent a lot. In fact, I spent pretty much all of it. Let's take care of that now. I have spent £304.95 of the voucher. So let's take that away. So we've got almost no voucher left. I think I've got like a tenner or something, something like that floating around left. Even more shocking, I've only actually purchased 3 games, so £300+ on 3 games. I mentioned that I'm going to start doing the free game collection slightly differently because I didn't need copious amounts of voucher every single episode because there wasn't really anything I wanted to purchase. That is true. That is definitely true. However, there was a very small sort of subset, a sort of category of games that I did have on my wish list, but I think it's that sort of subset that most of us are a bit more timid, a bit more cautious of going after, and it quite basically is the expensive, the rarities side of thing. So I've got 3 games all in the rarities category. I've got 1 Xbox 360 and 2 PS2 games that I've wanted for a very long time, and I've decided, you know what, I've got that voucher, there's nothing else I want, so let's pull the trigger now, and that's what I've gone and done. So if I want any more games, I've got to pick up my game basically and get a load of voucher back because there's pretty much none of it left. So let me show you what it is I've spent it on. So the first one, I picked this up in store. Weirdly, I went in store and they actually had 2 copies of this, one with and one without voucher. Sorry, one with and one without manual. But the difference was only like £5, which is rare these days because usually the manual's worth a load. And it was Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. So I got very lucky and I managed to pick up Friend or Foe and Web of Shadows on the 360 a couple of weeks ago, and I got them pretty much for free at a car boot sale. So I thought, you know what, that justifies me spending £52 on Shattered Dimensions. This is the one I wanted the most. It's in cracking condition. I've already stuck it in one of these plastic cases that I get. By the way, someone asked me, I get these from eBay. They're like £10. It took me a while to find a good one, really, that you get 10 for a tenner, but they're proper plastic and they stop UV rays, and I put my more expensive and my better condition ones. It's what the ones are in here just behind me. So I've stuck it in there, and I won't take it out, but I reassure you the condition is absolutely spot on. I wouldn't have spent 52 quid on them if it wasn't. Shattered Dimensions, I haven't played it just yet, to be completely honest with you. I do know it's about, you play as all 4 of these Spider-Men, 2099, Ultimate Noir and Amazing Spider-Man. And I think you're trying to put something back together, if I remember correctly, looking at the review. You do in different, all 4 in different dimensions, and you have to collect something to rejoin them. It reviewed okay from what I can gather. My understanding is these Spider-Man games are worth so much money because there's that whole licensing problem with them. I think obviously Marvel bought back the license to Spider-Man at some point in time, which meant that they can't remake these games. They can't put them on the store to buy. So it's one of those ones where if you want to play these games, you have to buy them physically, which is why the price of them goes up. Someone in the comments, if I'm wrong about that, please do let me know. But I believe that's why the Spider-Man games are worth so much. So yeah, Shattered Dimensions. I've now got all the Spider-Man games on Xbox 360. Something I've wanted for quite a while, but to be honest, I never thought I'd have it because of how expensive they got. But then as soon as I got those of the 2 the other week, I thought, well, you can't, 52 quid now just to round off is way better than the nearly £200 I was looking at to get the 3 that I was missing at the time. So there we go. Really, really chuffed with that one. Chuffed with that. That's going to be looked after. Fantastic. Brilliant. The next one, so the next PS2, this one I picked up in store as well, and it was the same. It was a different store, weirdly enough. I've got 3 CEXs around me, so I tend to visit all 3 sort of frequently between the 3. This one, they had 2 copies, both with manual, and he let me look at both ones, and I picked the one that was in the best condition. They were both in fantastic condition. This one is absolutely mint. This is Manhunt 2. £105. That is too much money for a video game, isn't it? Let's be honest. I'm glad to have it, but I'm also not one of these people that just sort of goes, oh look, I spent £105 on a game. It's too much money. It's too much. However, I've wanted it for quite a while. I have very, very fond memories of the original Manhunt. I went round my friend Daniel's house many years ago when we were, I would have been like year 10, so how old? About 14, too young to have been playing Manhunt, Manhunt 1, and we played it, and we just sat down in his room and played the hell of it, and it was proper gory back then. It was a bit too much. So I have very fond memories of Manhunt 1. Manhunt 2, when did Manhunt 2 come out? It's 2007, oh yeah, so 2000, oh, I'd have been probably 19, 20 years old when this came out. I had other things to be doing at that point in time. I was at university. So Manhunt 2 came out and just passed me by. But I've wanted to play this ever since. And I nearly purchased this a long time ago, and it was like 50 quid. And I was like, oh, it's a bit much. But that was when PS2 games really weren't nowhere near as expensive as they are now. And since then, it's just creeped up. But this is in absolute pucker condition. This is absolutely cracking condition. So I have no complaints to grab this one, but £105, oh, it's a lot, isn't it? The story on the back is very similar. You're an inmate. There seems to be 2 characters in it, and yet again they're messing around with you. You've got to get out of the asylum. You've been in there for 6 years. People are recording you. Yeah, how do you get out? One choice, one chance. Oh yeah. So same as the other Manhunt, I believe. But yeah, there you go. 105 quid for Manhunt 2, but not too bad. So what you got there? You got £157 in 2 rarities, as CEX like to call them, and obviously we spent 300. So the last one is going to be even more ridiculously priced, isn't it? Some of you are going to know what this is, because I put a poll up on this many weeks ago, because this game is one that I didn't pull the trigger on at the end of 2023, and I've regretted it since. I've touched on this before. It's a series, so it dropped from 160 down to 145. Now I have no idea when this video is going to go out and whether it's gone up or down, but I put a poll out saying, do you think it's worth me grabbing it now, or is this game going to continue to fall? So when this goes out, it'll be interesting to see whether it did or didn't, whether I made the right choice. But it is Project 03. So I had to order this one in, so I had to pay the £2.95 delivery, hence why we spent £304.95 in voucher. This one, there was actually a copy of this in stock a couple of weeks ago in one of my locals. However, the staples and the manual are completely rotted away, and the manual's in really shoddy condition, so I left it, because for £145, let's just be straight, oh, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. All 3 of these games are sort of going for the collector side of my mentality. I've wanted them for a very long time to complete these sets, all the Spider-Mans, both the Manhunts, and now I've got all the Project Zero guys. They're spending a lot of money to complete subsets, which I'm happy about. I want them. I've got the voucher. I've got nothing else to spend it on. Why not treat myself? But I am fully aware that me standing here saying, look, I've got a game for 145 quid. It's not clever, it's not smart, it's not clever. However, I wanted it. So it is in great condition, by the way, fantastic condition. I had no problem with it. This came weeks ago, to be honest with you, but it's back in a case as well. Yeah, can I be honest as well, the Project Zero series, I played the first one, a bit of the second one. They're okay. They're not as good as the other sort of expensive horror games on the PS2. Obscure series, those 2 games, they're much better. And then the Siren series, they're very unsettling. I put them second, and then the Project Zero probably coming at third. I know there's other ones, obviously, but they're sort of the main 3 that you see people mentioning quite often, don't you? But it's okay. But £145, I'm chuffed to bits to have it. Don't get me wrong, really chuffed. But I am aware that I've overpaid for no game really is worth 100. It's not like a special edition or anything like that. I don't know if it's a particularly rare game either. The one thing I do like about this, which I know some people won't, is there's a choices sticker on the back. I know some people won't be happy with that because they don't want stickers on, but I have very fond memories of visiting Choices. The video was like a Blockbuster, if you don't know, back in the day when I was growing up with my family, and they're not around anymore. So I really like the fact that there's a choices sticker on the back. However, I'm aware some people that they'd be returning it for that, but not me. I think I'm really glad it's on there weirdly. But yes, £145. I have the complete Project Zero series on the PS2 now. I do believe there's one on the Wii U. I've got the other 2 on the OG Xbox. I think there's one on the Wii U. I think they've released one on the newer consoles as well. I need to have a look, but I don't know if that's a remake of the Wii U. I need to have a little look. But anyway, as far as the retro games go, I've got the original 3. So yeah, quite a lot of money on 3 games. Just over £300 on 3 games. This, like I say, is really satisfying the collector side of my mentality. The games, I don't know, you know, how good they are. I'm going to take a guess and say I'm probably paying for nostalgia and rarity and that collector need, that requirement we all have, which pushes up the price of these games. But hey, like I said, I've got all that voucher and it hasn't moved for months on end. And these games, I won't lie, I know, like I say, I know I've overpaid, but it feels really, really nice to have them as well. And I put a lot of time and effort into getting those vouchers, and a lot of people have put in the comments to reassure me, you know, if you put that time and effort in, spend the voucher and get something you like. So I have, there you go. So £300+. So like I say, if I want anything else now, I need to get to the car boots and the charity shops and what have you, because I've got no voucher left. Luckily there isn't anything, but if anything new gets released that I fancy, I'm going to have to start hitting the car boots hard and build up that voucher. So yeah, but there you go. Yeah, so there you go. So three new games to add to my collection. Not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, but it feels nice to go round off some of the more expensive subsets that I've had on my radar. So thank you very, very, very much for watching. Take care of yourselves.